Okay, welcome to the hidden power of the healer's journey transformation cards. Yes, that is a mouthful. Um, so tonight, what I want to do is share a little bit about the cards. Some of you may have the cards. Do you want to put it in the chat if you have the cards, or if you don't have the cards, let me know with a yes or a no. And you don't need them for tonight, so it doesn't matter if you do have them or not. Where's my chat? There it is. Yes, Linda and Sarah, not yet. Beautiful. Are you trying to share your screen, Renati? Because it's giving me a request. No, is that a boo-boo? I'll decline. Okay. Cool. Not yet. Cool. Okay, so the cards came about many years ago. I don't even know how many, maybe 6, 7, 8, I don't know. And they began as like on bits of paper like this, and you can see I've written all over them. And I created them I got to a point and I was dealing with some issues at the time, and I'd been using all the tools that I usually use, and I just wasn't getting where I wanted to go. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if, you could just have cards on a bit of paper, each one represented a different thing. And you didn't even have to interpret anything. You just went boom, and it gave you an answer. That would be awesome. So I created these cards and I made them really simple so that they basically just told me, hey, you need to use this modality, or hey, it would be beneficial to look at this, or whatever. So that's where they began. Now, I used them for a little while, and then they got put in a box somewhere and forgotten about. And then maybe 2 years ago, it would have been when I moved house here, I found them and I got them out, popped them up on one of my shelves nearby. Thought, oh yeah, I'll use them one day. And they kind of sat there again for a while. And then at the beginning of this year, I just got the nudge to now's the time, get them printed and share them with others. So that was really exciting to do that. Once again, I wanted to keep the cards very simple, so I didn't go into images or anything like that with them. I wanted to create something a little bit different with them. And you can see the deck here. This is the new deck with colors, different colored cards, but no actual images. And the reason for that was because there are a lot of tarot decks and oracle cards and stuff out there that have amazing images, and they're absolutely stunning and beautiful and so fun to use. But I wanted to get away from the distraction, and I wanted to really have something that was more direct and something that you could then use as a tool for deeper exploration and development in a way that I hope gives more clarity. I know that some people can get a little overwhelmed using oracle cards and tarot cards and so on, and feeling like, oh, I'm not intuitive enough and all that sort of thing. So even though, of course, we still use our intuition with these, we use it for everything we do. The idea was about keeping it very simple and direct and using it as a tool for self-transformation. So what I'm going to do, actually, let me say first, when I first started using the cards in their basic form, I had like little hints that I would give myself as to what that card meant for me. And some of that information I couldn't put on a printed deck of cards that was going to be used by the general public, because it was just, you need to keep things a little bit more, I suppose, generic in some ways so that they can reach a wider range of people. Not everyone would have understood the lingo that I was using as a theta healing. I talk a lot about theta healing things. I see the world through that perspective a lot. Not everybody knows about that or understands that or even has a desire to do that. So some of the cards needed to be altered a little bit so that they were relevant to anyone who picked them up. So it took a while to kind of re-envision the cards and give them some new life. And at the same time, so super excited that they would be appreciated by other people. So, of course, there is also the Healer's Journey guidebook and workbook that goes along with that. And instead of like an oracle or tarot deck having a little, white book that goes with it, I wanted a book that was really more comprehensive, that would be part of the healing journey. Now, having said that, there's not a stack of information in there, but there is questions. Excuse me while I turn my phone off. But there are questions that can be asked to help you navigate.
What's on your mind?
Oh, excuse me, guys. Phone is not cooperating. There we go. Okay. So, yes, the book was created as a companion. You do not need the book, but I do think that it gives you a lot more depth to the information given. Now, I'm not going to... Actually, first of all, I want to ask another question. So for those of you that are healers or have learned a healing modality or use some sort of modality or technique in your daily life, can you pop that in the chat? And some of you may have many, so maybe just put a couple of your main ones. Any modality that you've learned that you use, as a tool in your daily life, or perhaps you work with clients, just put whatever that modality, the technique that you like to use, pop that in the chat. And it might be even something as simple as journaling, if that's your thing that you use to help you shift energy or something like that. Some people, it might be meditation. Some people may have learned specific modalities. Yeah, Tyson, Reiki, and Theta. Linda, Theta and meditation. Good. Catherine, Theta, Reiki, crystal healing and drumming. Awesome. And the reason I'm asking this is because what you do and the tools that you use, you'll bring that to the cards. And you'll be able to navigate the cards in a way that resonates with what you do. And I'll explain that more as we go along. I called this the hidden powers of the cards, because there's a lot more below the surface that you can access. And that's what I want to share with you in this video. So hope, dreams, music, journaling, good, Renati. Meditation, sound healing, theta healing. Sarah, journaling, theta, affirmations. Tara, journaling and meditation. Awesome. Excellent. Lots of good stuff there. Okay, so let's start going through the cards, and then as we connect with each card, I will share a little bit about different layers connected to that card. Please feel free to jump in with any questions that you have at any time. I'm not going to go through the chakras, because I think they're fairly basic. We've all pretty much heard of the chakras, and there's so much information online that when you see what has been put into the books, it's fairly minimal, but it does allow a little space for you to do your own research and add information to the book, because this is it's not just a guidebook, but it's a workbook as well. So you can add bits of information to make the card more your own. But I think the chakras are fairly standard, and there was nothing in them that was really specifically different to what I was doing. So I'm going to start with the first card, which is the physical card, and I'm going to put a something up on the screen here for you. Go. Okay, so just with the root chakra, for those who haven't seen the cards before, you could just get a bit of an idea of what they're like. This is the first card, the root chakra. You can see that there is a little section there that may talk a little bit about the card, and pretty much most of the cards have a question or something that invites you to some level of introspection or reflection. So the root chakra, of course, relates to safety, basic needs, grounding, and physicality. And the question associated with this is, what do you fear losing? So that's something that you could meditate on, and always use these questions as a starting point. This isn't the only question that's going to be relevant. It may not even be the one that resonates most with you, but it's a starting point. And if you do some journaling on that or some meditation on that, you may find another question pops into your head. It's like, oh, that's where I need to go. So that's kind of how the cards work. They take you on a journey through the questions. Now, in the workbook, there are more questions that will add to that. So I'll just go through the root chakra one so you get an idea of that. So what's threatening your security? Where do you feel ungrounded or unsupported? And are you living in survival mode? And then it just talks a little bit about how the aspects of the root chakra manifest on a physical level and some of the effects of an overactive or underactive chakra, and then some little tips on how to work with that. So that's just an example of how the cards basically work. The first one I really wanted to sort of talk a little bit more in depth about was the physical level card. Now, this one, once again, the question is, what does your body need right now? There's a couple of things here. This is in the workbook, this bit. When this card shows up, it may indicate someone's who's very involved in a spiritual journey and kind of not really connecting with the kind of mundane physical aspects. You know, sometimes people get very spiritual and avoid aspects of the mundane, but to be really truly spiritual beings, we need to be able to integrate all things because we live in a physical reality. So that can be one aspect of it. And the other aspect of it, and this is the one that I really used to use it mainly for, this card would tell me that there's an issue, whatever question I was asking, the issue was related to something that was happening at a physical level. So this could be my body, it could be home, finances, security, environment, anything kind of material or physical related could relate to this. But the hidden level of this was it could also represent things like body work. It might be go get a massage, the go get a massage card, or maybe a chiropractor or a Bowen therapist or something where your body is actually physically being contributed to in some way. So this is handy when you get a card like this to look at the basic, what's written on the card, ask the questions that are on the card and in the workbook, but then, oh, okay, this could actually indicate that my body needs physical work. And this is why I was asking about the modalities and that you guys do. If, for example, you were a massage therapist, this might be a message to you about using that particular therapy in some way. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this is the mental level. This card used to say, mental level, get your bars run. And some of you will know that I'm talking about access bars, which is a technique that uses 32 points on your head, where you apply a little pressure to those, or place your fingers on those points, and energy runs through those points and it releases a lot of blocked and stored energy that's being held in your brain. And also, up to 10,000 lifetimes worth of beliefs and so on related to those specific points. So in other words, it's a very, very amazing relaxation technique, de-stressing technique, etc. So for me, it was a message to go get my bars run, but for someone else, it's just speaking to what can you do to relax, to de-stress, to deprogram the mind that's going crazy. That's a hidden level of this card. That's another layer of information that you can receive. Okay, so the next one is card number 10, the emotional level. Oh, and I should have also mentioned too that the cards are color coded into their sections. So the chakras are all basically a pink color. The levels are all yellow. The what do you call them? The hidden influences are blue. The what else have I got here? The transformation tools. Oh, sorry. The soul gift cards are purple and the transformation tools are all in green. So just so you recognize what's happening with all the colors. Okay, the emotional level. With this one, this can be a great time to, well, first of all, acknowledge that you've got emotional stuff going on. One of the questions here is what awareness lies behind the emotions. So quite often it's easy to see that we've got something going on at an emotional level and we focus on the emotions. It's like, I'm feeling sad, and then we go on about the sadness, but what's actually underneath that? What is at the core of that sadness? A couple of the questions in the workbook are what personal needs are not being met. How old are you when you're experiencing this energy or this behavior or this emotion? What and who are you punishing is another question. Now, when I was writing the workbook, I was just not thinking about what questions were needed, but I was allowing Creator to speak with me, to guide me, and Creator. So I allowed these questions to be guided by Creator. Sorry, I think I got muted there for a minute. I'm back. Okay, and the next layer of that is when you've got emotional stuff going on, a really great idea is also to move your body. So you can follow what's in the workbook here, which is about answering the questions, allowing those insights and awarenesses and wisdom to come through, do some journaling and just see what unfolds, but then use some of the techniques that it offers in here as well. Move your body. If you like running, go for a run. If you want to dance, dancing, put on some like real tribal jungle music or something and get your body moving. It's a wonderful way to release energy. Okay, let's go to the next one. And also, I make sure my chat's here so that I can see you all. Please feel free to jump in if you have any questions about any cards as I'm going along. I will do my best to see when you ask a question. Okay, the next one is a spiritual level. You may be ignoring your high guidance or feel disconnected from all that is. How do you know that what do you know that you're pretending not to know? That's a great question because sometimes we know stuff, but we kind of fool ourselves that we don't know what's going on. There's some other questions in the workbook. I'm not going to go into all of them, but the extra bit, yes, I will in a second. Hope, give me one moment. The extra bit I wanted to add with this is when something came up on a spiritual level, this was sometimes a guidance for me to use theta healing, but it could be a Reiki if you're doing Reiki. something like that. That might be something you could do at this level. Also, something like automatic writing, something where you're accessing that um, spiritual element to open up more information and guidance to yourself. It could be about meditating so you can speak to your guides. So, as I said before, as we go through the different cards, you see that there's a way you can ask questions, do some journaling, get more insight about the card. But then there's, oh, hey, this could actually mean I need to do some automatic writing. This may mean this is something, whatever question you've asked, this is something that I can use theta healing for. And you'll hear me reference theta healing a lot because that's a modality that I mostly use. It's kind of sprinkled throughout this deck, but it can also serve a purpose to other people as well. Yes, now the color codes were the kind of pinkish color is the chakras. The yellow cards are the levels. The blue cards are the hidden influences. The green cards are the transformation tools. And the purple cards are the soul gifts. Okay, now there's the blue one. So that's one of the hidden influences. So the first one that's coming up here is past lives. So obviously, if this card comes up, there could be a past life influencing whatever is going on. What energies from the past are now ready to be set free. Here I've put, and I think I've put something in the workbook too. Let me just check. So the questions I've asked here, what energy from the past are you using to limit yourself? Because we can often do that with past lives, right? We allow ourselves to be limited in some way. It creates some sort of symptom or condition. And quite often there is a past life or something like that associated with that. So asking these questions can help you access that. What pain from the past are you holding on to? What emotion is keeping you stuck in the past? And what are you afraid to let go of? So journaling on those questions can just open up a wealth of information. And then it depends how comfortable you feel working with past lives. For me, I do it so often and have done for so many years that it's like, spreading butter on bread. You don't even think about it. It's not an issue. But for some people, it might be very new. So if that's the case, if you're unfamiliar with it and you're concerned about it in any way, then, see a practitioner or someone who's more experienced with that sort of thing. But even just doing the journaling is going to help you access that information at some level. So trust yourself that you have the ability to do that. And at the end of this session today, we may do a quick little theta healing meditation. And that whenever you go into theta, to the brainwave state of theta and access a creator, you're always in a safe space. You're always able to tap into whatever information that you need. You're always being guided through whatever it is that you want to work through. So I'll share it with you at the end of today, and then we will, it's available for you to use in the future when you want to as well. It's a lovely little meditation to do before you do anything, really. Before you play with the cards, that's what I should have said. Okay, the next one, ancestral. Okay, so this card originally meant an experience relating to an ancestor because, our ancestors can go through all sorts of crazy stuff that has an impact on us. And many of you would have heard of, like Holocaust survivors and stuff like that who have passed down generational trauma to their families. That's actually proven and studied and all of that sort of thing. So the things that influenced our ancestors can influence us, and it can go back many, many generations. So that's one level of the card. But recently, I started accessing a whole different level of this card. And that's the beauty of them. The more you start playing with them, the more they're going to take on special meaning to you. You'll look at them in one way, and then, something will change or shift in your life. And all of a sudden, you'll be like, oh, I see that differently now. So for me, I actually made some dietary changes, and it was really about getting back into what is really true to our nature as human beings and what was really going to serve my body best. And I started really feeling very grounded and very calm. And I started connecting to different lifetimes I'd had with in different tribes, like Native American, Mayan, Aboriginal, all sorts of stuff. And all of a sudden, the card now had another layer. So now when this card comes up, it to me, it's also about going back to our roots. It's about, connecting with times before we had, TVs and um, uh, computer lighting and indoor lighting. And we actually just got out in the sunlight before GMOs, before unprocessed foods, like really going back to when there was a level of health and vitality that we experienced as a society that was very connected with our roots and who we are. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have nice stuff now. We can, but it's about finding the balance. So when this card comes up, it really, really had this other layer. And so I've just put here, this card is about connecting with your roots as a human being. And two more questions that you can add in is, what did your ancestors do that would assist you now? And what did our ancient ancestors do that could help humanity now? So I just thought they were really cool questions that we could add to this card as well. And this recording is going to be put up on my website, and you'll be able to access that anytime you want. In fact, those of you who are online here, I might even send you a copy if you'd like that as well, and you can then have your own version, but it will also go up onto the website as well. And that way you can listen back if you want to take some notes or whatever. Okay, so the Galactic card. This was not in the original deck. This got put in because some years back I did a training as a Galactic Akashic Records reader, and it was so fun. Now, as a theta healing, I used to connect a lot with, or not a lot, but quite often with people's galactic lives. Quite often we'd tune into, a root cause of something for someone. Where did this originate? Oh, this is coming from a galactic lifetime. And so we'd do the clearing and whatever, but it was limited to that. But when I did the Galactic Akashic Record readings, it really kind of added a whole another layer of information, and also fun. It was just really fun to work with this energy. So this card is all about conditions relating to your galactic heritage that may be influencing you. And I definitely wanted to put this in because I know it might be weird stuff for some people. There's a lot of people that are really connecting with their galactic roots now, and especially with all the UFOs and the disclosure stuff happening, and are the aliens going to land? Blah blah blah. So it's just fun to bring this energy in, and I'll actually talk a little bit more about this later when we get into one of the other cards and how they're sort of kind of connected. And also, if you're interested in kind of going deeper into this or any card, always just ask for the information to be shown to you. Ask to have the guidance to that relevant information. All right, the environmental card. So this relates to toxins and man-made frequencies that can affect us. So it could be things like mold or fertilizers, or any of that type of stuff that is affecting us in our environment. That includes, as it says, their man-made frequencies. So if you're living near a telegraph power station or, whatever, all that sort of stuff can be affected here. Although there is also a frequency card as well. So sometimes there's little bits of overlapping in these cards. You can make it really relevant to what is relevant to you. Also, this card also connects with the womb card that we're going to look at in a little while. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So external, you may be attracting toxic people or non-physical entities in your life. So what's the difference between something that's external and the previous card, which was environmental? So environmental is more, as I said, maybe molds, toxins, chemicals, frequencies, whatever. This card is more about non-physical entities. So little lost souls around you, entities that might be attached to you. Sometimes when there's people who are, very depressed and traumatized, maybe drink a lot or take drugs or something like that, they can attract non-physical entities because of the lower vibration. They kind of attract entities that have a similar vibration. So that's this card. So you can do an energy clearing to release those little entities as well. And some of you, I'm sure, will have techniques as part of your modalities to do that. If you don't, the best advice is to raise your vibration. Do something that's going to make you lift your energy so that you're not aligning with those lower vibrations. And also you seek out a practitioner who can help you release them as well. It's very simple, but it's not the topic of this presentation today to go into that. So I will keep moving. All right, this is the womb card. Now, this was really an important card when I first created these cards, because those of you who do theta healing will know that there's an exercise called sending love to the baby in the womb. And that's where this card originated. Whenever this card showed up, it was a signal for me to use that specific technique to, clear something, whatever it was for me or for someone else. It does give you the indication that you're being impacted by an experience from your time in the womb. And why is this important? Because the womb is your first environment in a physical reality, in this physical reality. Therefore, what you experience in the womb very much relates to a subtle layer of what you experience outside the womb. And I see this so much when I'm doing healing with people. I'll go in and I'll be doing like a scan on when they were in the womb through the different trimesters and looking at, what's the energy, what's showing up for this person. And I might say something like, oh, you've got a lot of anxiety around you. Was your mum very anxious, or was she worried about something during the pregnancy? They'll be like, oh, yes, blah, 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 such and such happened. But then that person will also be experience either quite significant anxiety or a very low grade anxiety that they may not have even put their finger on. But when you point it out, it's, oh, yeah, I am a bit anxious about this, or I do this to prevent that, but they haven't necessarily identified it as anxiety. So the womb is an amazing place to do healing because it's very much related to what people recreate later in their lives. And it's a very, very simple technique to release that as well. And so that's why I said before, when we connect it back to the environment card. So if you get the environment card, you might want to also link it with the womb card and say, okay, what was happening in the womb? And anyone can do this. Like I'm talking about the theta healers, but anyone can do this. Do a meditation, close your eyes and ask to be shown what was impacting me, what was happening when I was in the womb. And then just notice that the feelings, sensations, thoughts, visuals, whatever it is that you perceive. And then just think about, okay, what was my mum going through? What were my parents experiencing when I was in the womb? And you can get some really, really amazing information from that. And then you can just ask, please send love to me as a baby in the womb. Simple, and it will create a shift and definitely be a benefit for how you feel about yourself in your daily life and your environment. The birth card is another one. Now, this is more experience from when you're actually being born, that actual moment of birth. This was originally called birth trauma, but I did want to just simplify the wording and also not make the trauma too specific, because not everyone experienced trauma specifically, but birth can still have a an impact. So, for example, someone who may have been forceps delivery is someone that there's belief systems that go with this. So they may be someone that feels kind of pressured or so kind of pushed into things in their life. Someone who's had an induced birth might feel a bit resentful of their space being invaded. They may be easily overwhelmed. Someone who had a near-death experience when they were being born may feel like they're dying. They may have these fears about dying when they're alive, or they may resent authority due to a lack of knowing how to be alive for themselves. Like there's so many aspects to being born, cesarean, a late birth, an early birth. These are all things that can be connected here. And if you're really interested in knowing more about that, there's a book called Being Born by Robin Furness, and she talks about the different beliefs and affirmations that you can use around this sort of thing. But I use it in theta healing. If someone's had a specific birth, I'll use her little book to identify certain belief systems and then use that as part of the healing. So it's a very, very interesting book if you're working with this sort of thing. Okay, the trauma card. So once again, unresolved shock or trauma can trigger old patterns and fight, flight, freeze responses. And, it's interesting because when a deer or something like that is chased by a lion or something and manages to get away, it will literally stand there and shiver and shake to release the trauma that's built up. We don't do that in our environment. We suppress. That's just the nature of human beings. We often just kind of suppress what's going on around us. So this card will give indication that perhaps there's some unresolved shock or trauma that needs to be dealt with. Theta healing is brilliant for working with trauma. It's one of the amazing techniques that you can use where you don't have to go back into the trauma drama. You can just release it and it's done. There's a lot of techniques that really kind of drag it out and put you back in it. You don't want to be doing that. You really want a nice, gentle shift. And theta healing is brilliant with that. There's also a book called The Metaphysical Anatomy Technique by Yvette Rose. And I do like her metaphysical anatomy book. And this other one I read, it's not a technique that I specifically wanted to use, but if you didn't have theta healing, it would be a very, very viable technique that may be of benefit for some people. So it might be something that people can look into if you're interested. 23 barriers. Your fears, beliefs, and limited points of view may be holding you back. Lower your barriers and expand into your infinite nature. So in spiritual work, people always talk about protection. You need to put up barriers and stuff like that. I don't, because my understanding is if you believe that you need protection, you're basically sending a message to the universe that there's something to fear. if you're truly in your power and being responsible for creating your reality, you function from awareness, knowing where and when to be, being in the right place at the right time, getting that little hit of information of, oh, I don't think I'll go down that road today. I need to go this way. It's about trusting yourself and having that awareness. And the minute you start putting up barriers, the minute you actually will draw energy to you, you'll actually attract attention. Now, I want to add a little caveat to that, because there are some people that may be using a lot of protection because you've got something funky going on in your life that is frightening in some way, or causing distress in some way. We do what you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable and move through whatever it is that you're moving through. I remember probably, I don't know, would have been, gosh, 20 years ago now. I'd separated from my ex and was living in a old place with my children. And it was really frightening when I first moved there on my own. It was this really old kind of creepy house. And yeah, I won't go into all the details, but I was quite afraid living alone as a single mum out on my own for the first time. And so I was calling in Archangel Michael every day. I felt that I needed that protection, and that is absolutely available for us. But as I got stronger and as I built up my own sense of self and my own power, I didn't need that anymore. And I was able to get to a point where I realized, okay, I'm actually creating my reality. I don't need protection. I just need to be able to choose what it is that I want to create my reality, and recognize when something feels off. So it's okay to be wherever you are in your journey, but I want to share this information about the barriers as a potential, as a possibility for something that you may resonate with in the future. So this card, barriers, is really about stepping into your power. And eventually, if we have a lot of barriers up, eventually it will hold us back because we use them as a crutch. So that's the barriers card. Now, the next card up is hold on one second. I just need to check something out, because there is this kind of similar card. I don't know whether I want to do them together or separate. Oh, it's later. Okay. I'll add in that information later. Let's just move on. Okay, 26 victim. Okay, who has done victim at some point in their lives? I'm going to stop share for a minute. All right, let's see your hands, guys. Who's done victim? Yeah. Who had fun a little bit with the victim? Yeah, we've all done that, right? Yeah, absolutely. This is a great card because where's my little thingamajiggy gone? Oh, there they are. Because what I've found working, well, having done victim really good myself, and from working with people that are doing victim, is that there is an actual level of potency behind this victim facade. Like, we play the victim, but we're actually really potent. We're actually very good at kind of manipulating through being a victim. So this is why I've asked the question, what power and potency are you hiding by playing the victim? So let me give you an example of this. So for years, anyone who knew me, anytime there was mention of singing, I'm like, I can't sing. No, can't sing. That's it. Just, I'll make people's ears bleed if I sing. but I've always loved singing. So I'll sing myself when there's no one else around, but never around other people. And I'd convince myself, poor me, I can't sing. I really wish I could sing, you know. Well, one day I had that thought, "Oh, I really wish I could sing. And I thought, you know what? If you don't shut up and actually just go do something about that, then you're going to be 20 years' time sitting in your rocker thinking, oh, what if? What if I'd done that? What if I'd taken action? What if I actually didn't believe that bullshit and I just had a go at it?" And so I went and started taking singing lessons, and it was the most fun ever. I actually joined a choir and just had the best time ever. But I was doing victim with that, oh, you know, poor me, I can't really wish I could sing. You know, no, sometimes we just have to be willing to recognize that we have a potency. And the beautiful thing is that I write my own songs and have done for many years, but now I'm actually singing them as well. And that just added a whole level of joy to my life, because now instead of having words on paper, lyrics on paper, I can actually express those words. I can actually share them with others now. And so that gives you an example of the victim and the potency that is available to us if we get out of our own way. So yeah, it's a fun card when the victim card comes up. And it's fun to recognize that sometimes we get a little bit of joy out of being the victim and recycling all that drama. All right. Hello, cursor. Where are you? Here we go. Now I better get my chat back as well, just in case anyone's got questions. Okay, chakra balance. So we have the 7 chakra cards at the beginning, but chakra balance is specifically a card for if you, once again, you're asking a question, perhaps, you know, what is the key to moving forward with blah, 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 and you get the chakra balance card, then it may be beneficial for you to get a chakra balance or for you to balance your own chakras. So that, you know, it's a fairly simple card. For me, I use theta healing for that. So you can easily balance your chakras with theta healing, but you might be a crystal healer, or I think someone put that in the chat. Yeah, someone did the crystals. Yes, Catherine. And even that's reminding me too of the sound bowls. So that could be something else. Renati, you do the sound healing. So that's something else that this card may speak to you in that respect if the chakra balance card comes up. It could also be for some people, like if you were using the beautiful high frequency essential oils, or even chanting, color therapy, anything like that. When this card comes up, that could be an indication that that would be a contribution to you. Meridians. I popped this one in because many of you will have heard of Donna Eden, who does all the meridian work, and you can just really get energy flowing through your meridians. And so when this card came up, that was the Donna Eden meridians energy work. And if you haven't heard of her, you can find her on YouTube, and she's got some great books as well that are really wonderful. Earth. Let me have a look. Your body and being a craving nature to rebalance and rejuvenate energetically and at a cellular level. This is a fairly obvious one. You know, we need to get out in nature more. Originally, I did have an earth card and a nature card, but I decided to incorporate them into one just for simplicity. And this goes back to you know, what I was saying before with the ancestral card, you know, like walk around bare feet, or, you know, stay away from your computer for a while, or wear the glasses to block out the blue light. You know, maybe look at processed foods or anything that you're eating that is having an impact on the body. That can all be part of the earth card and rebalancing your body. 37, hooks and cords. This also is a theta healing technique. So there's a specific exercise that we do to remove hooks and cords from people's energy field. But once again, some of you using other modalities, you may have techniques within that you can use to clear these energies. It certainly shows up if, if you're feeling drained, if you're taking on other people's energy, if you're working in an area where people are traumatized or experience loss or suffering or anything where that energy is really kind of dragging you down, you definitely want to be clearing hooks and cords. Now, this is another theta healing card, dig deeper. So that once again is a theta healing technique that we use to kind of dig down to find out what the deep belief system, the deep subconscious beliefs are that are perhaps limiting people in some way. So if this card comes up, doesn't matter if you're not a theta healer, it's basically just saying dig deeper. So if you think something, oh, it could be related to this, it's like, no, hang on a minute, you need to actually look at that more deeply. Ask yourself some questions, ask the questions in the workbook, and really look below the surface when this card comes up. 42, it's not yours. Okay, so often we take on energy that does not even belong to us. Like, it's staggering how much people do this. This specific tool originally came from Access Consciousness, who have a tool called Who Does It Belong To? So if you felt heaviness in your body, or you're feeling drained or something, you ask, who does it belong to? And if the energy kind of lightens up, it's like, oh, that's not mine. I can actually just release that. So that's where the essence of this card comes from. It's the acknowledgement that you may be taking on other people's energies and assuming they're yours, and you can just acknowledge them and let them go. You may not always know exactly who it is, but it doesn't matter, because it's just the acknowledgement that it's not yours is all that's needed. Beyond the story. Okay, so stories are an illusion, often filled with victimhood and drama. With this card, it's asking you to go beyond the words and ask what's really, really going on. People get invested in their tales of woe. We recycle the stories. We've all done it, right? This card invites you to put that aside and look at what's going on beneath it. So, for example, if you have a story about money, oh, I can't afford it. Oh, there's never enough money. I can't pay the bills, whatever it is. That's the story. What's that energy underneath it? And it might be a fear of stepping into your own power, a fear of your own ability to create something amazing. Maybe you have an illness or an injury that you're always talking about, like, oh, my back, I can't sit down. Oh, yes, I went to see so-and-so the other day, and oh, my back was killing me, or I slipped over and I did this. And then you tell everyone that all your friends, every time oh, yeah, this happened the other day, and oh, my poor back, and we all do it, right? So the acknowledgement here is recognize when you've just gone into the story, and just stop for a minute and have a look. Okay, what's underneath that? What is the energy under that? When I'm doing healing work with people, I'm always looking for the energy. I hear the story that they're telling me on the surface. I hear the physical expression of what is happening, but what I'm also feeling on a different level is, or what I'm looking for on a different level, is the energy. What's underneath that? What's the bit that's sticking them? And that's what this card's all about, really looking at the energy. Because when we talk about, this happened or that happened, that's very surface level. That's the symptom. We want to find out what's going on below that. Recode. Okay, this was another modality that I use it occasionally myself. I don't really use it with clients very much these days, but it is a great modality. It comes from, I think the correct name is the Magnetic Mind Superconscious Recode, or just Superconscious Recode. So whenever this card came up, that's what it said to me. Hey, use the recode process to clear this problem, whatever it is coming up. But if you don't have that technique, or if you don't know what it is or whatever, all it's really saying is to reprogram, to change, to shift any resistance to your desired goal. And this was part of the recode, that your superconscious recode, was you would start with a desired result. You, instead of looking at the problem, you would look at, okay, I want to create a successful business. That's the desired result. And so you need to clear any resistance to having that result. It may be a healthy body, it may be a new car, whatever it is. So instead of looking at the problem, look at what it is that you want to create, and then, change any beliefs or shift any energies or whatever, so that you can actually have that. So it's a little bit different to perhaps theta healing, where we look at what is, well, sometimes we look at what we want to create, but quite often we're looking at an issue or problem in the body. This just shifts the perspective a little bit, which really can give you another layer of information, which is great. Boundaries. Okay, so I want to relate this boundaries card to the barriers card that we had earlier. What is the difference between the two? The barriers was all about protection and, trying to protect yourself from certain things. Boundaries is very different, because this is about setting healthy boundaries so that you are respected and valued, and you respect and value yourself. It's not really a boundary, but it's about acknowledging that there's a point beyond which you don't go. It's about having your own back and saying, no, I'm not going to accept that. Or, just the example that often comes to mind is when I first started having clients, I just said yes to everyone. Yes, I'll work at any time of the day and night. I'll be available to anyone, because I just wanted lots of clients, But now I have set hours and I stick to those hours, and I don't necessarily answer the phone outside of those hours. And I remember one time sending an email out to all my clients at the time, and I said, look, I have some new guidelines. These are my office hours now, and, blah, blah, blah. And I actually had an email from a lady who said, thank you so much for letting me know. She said, now that I know the rules, I'm happy to, go along with that. And I'd never thought about it before from the perspective of, if you don't tell people what you want or what you need, how do they know? And then when they don't show up for a lesson or for a session, or, they do something that you don't want them to do, if you haven't shared what those boundaries are or those guidelines are, then they may not know. So it's actually very empowering to work out what you want and, set those guidelines and let other people know if necessary. So I spoke about the frequency before in the external card. This card is specifically about benefiting from changing the frequency, raising your vibration. Someone might use tuning forks to change vibration. There's also those apps they have these days. I used to use the AO scan, which you could put on your phone, and then it would send vibrations. There's like a Healy machine and Rife machines and bioresonance therapy, all that sort of stuff, which is all frequency based. So if this card comes up, it may be that something like that may be benefiting you. All right, we're nearly there, guys. Couple more, and then a quick meditation. All right, this is the heart space card. Now, this card is one that I also added in. I'll just read what it says here. Open your heart to allow greater presence with your higher self and align with harmonious outcomes for humanity's future. I added this card because even though we have the heart chakra card, that was really about the heart chakra on, perhaps physical, emotional, spiritual levels, how it related to your body. If something showed up, excuse me, if something showed up related to heart chakra, that's where you need to look for a solution. That's where you're being guided to. But this card is about something much bigger. It's about allowing yourself to drop into your heart space and just be really, really present with yourself. And from this space, you actually expand into all things. And from there, you have access to higher vibrational beings, um, different timelines, activations, upgrades, future possibilities, like stuff that goes beyond this reality. So by choosing to be in this heart space in your daily life as much as possible, instead of getting caught up in lower vibrational realities, you're actually able to choose something greater. And my perspective on this is that if we're all willing to choose something greater, to tap into that potential for a peaceful and harmonious future for humanity, then that's the timeline that we'll create. And so instead of being caught up in all the political dramas and all of the trauma and drama happening around us, it's like that can be on a completely different timeline. And we can actually really step into the timeline that we want to choose. And we can do that through the heart space. And through that heart space, expanding into all that is. And we'll do that in a moment with the theta meditation. I just quickly want to mention two of the soul gift cards. Now, there is the soul gift cards are teacher, scribe, sage, artist, mage, storyteller, seer, and healer. And I wanted to mention this one because this one reminds me of the magician in the normal tarot decks, because it's like the ability to manifest. It's being connected to above and below, the physical and the spiritual, and recognizing that, you have the power to create anything in your life. I think that most of the other cards are fairly self-explanatory, and you've probably heard them before. But the other one I really wanted to just touch on is the storyteller. And the storyteller is it's kind of special to me because I love writing and telling stories basically through songs or through books that I've written, whether nonfiction or fiction. But it also used to have a real significance when I was a tarot reader. So I did that professionally for about 9 years and met a couple of you at all the expos and that over the years. And what I realized when I was teaching tarot was that one of the abilities was about being a storyteller. So it's all about how you deliver information to people. You can say, like, well, you're stuffed. This is going to happen and that's happened, and suck it up. There's no personality in that. There's no, it's very blunt, it's very harsh, but it's not weaving the magic. When we tell a story, we weave a magic, and a good tarot reader will have the innate ability to really kind of weave all of the energies and all of the words into it's not really a story, but it's kind of a story. And I love that ability that people have to speak from that, whether they're connecting with guides, whether they're connecting with creator or, ancestors, that mediumship, whatever it is, or even your own higher self, that ability to really create some magic through the story that you're telling has always been very fascinating to me. So I wanted to add a little extra punch to that card. So that's all the cards we're going to go through today. There's actually 6. There's how many cards is there? 76, I think. Oh, and the Your Choice card. Forgot about that one. I did make one card, just like the special prize, the little jackpot. There it is. How lucky is that I actually found it? Your Choice. And this card is for if someone out there has a specific modality that you like to do, you can assign that to your modality. If you're if something that you do hasn't kind of come under the umbrella of any of the other cards, you can just use it. Or you can make it up for whatever you want to that card to represent for you. So if I did say it would be about an hour, I've already gone over, but if you'd like to hang around a little longer, we'll do a quick little meditation and we'll just expand into that heart space, and that'll also give you a little taste of that theta energy as well. So if you'd like to do that, just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. Or actually, before we do this, I want to ask a quick question. Do any of you have any questions about any of the cards, or anything to do with the cards? I will say that the cards in the book are available from me. People can pick them up, or I can post them out. If anyone does want to get a deck, you're welcome to email me and I'll give you the details and the pricing, and let me know where you live and I'll work out the postage and all that for you. Unfortunately, due to the family situation we've had going on, I've not had a chance to put any of this on my website. So just connect with me for now. And anyone who has the cards, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything along the way. It's a really, I've found it very rewarding and very fun to play with the cards. So I hope that you all do as well. Okay, close your eyes, guys. Let's go for it. Take a nice deep breath. Just imagine going from your heart center, or just dropping into that heart center. Feel your heart expanding. And now just imagine going all the way down through your body, allowing that energy to drop down into the earth, going through your legs, through your feet, all the way down to the center of the earth, all the way down, all the way down, deep into the center. And just imagine scooping up a great big scoop full of earth energy, bringing that energy up through the soles of your feet now, bringing that energy up higher and higher through your legs. Keep going higher and higher, bringing it up through your body, going past all the chakras. And as you go past each chakra, you activate it. And keep filling your body up with this beautiful earth energy, all the way till you come to the top of your head. At the top of your head, just notice that you go out the top of your head, but you're now in a beautiful ball of light. And just notice what color that ball is. And feel that ball start lifting up, going even higher and higher. Feel yourself going up beyond the stars, beyond the planets. Keep going even higher and higher. Out beyond the universe. Notice that you start going through some layers of white lights and dark lights. Keep going even higher. Keep moving through those layers of white lights and dark lights. Keep going higher until you come to a beautiful golden light. Feel yourself moving up through that. This level is the plane of the fifth plane, the plane of the angels and masters and guides. But we're not stopping here. We're going to keep going. So keep going even higher and higher. Keep going up through that golden light until you come to a jelly-like substance. This is the plane of the laws, the law of gravity, the law of electricity, the law of truth, all the laws. Notice this jelly-like substance feels a little different. It's all different colors and shapes and everything. Feel yourself moving through that energy higher and higher and higher. Feel yourself being wrapped in the pink light of compassion. And that pink light propels you up even further, even higher. And in the distance, you see a brilliant, iridescent white light. And you notice that it's shining out of a rectangular window. And you feel that pink light of compassion propelling you up, up, up into that iridescent light. And you move up quickly through the window and into that space of oneness with all that is. And notice as you move into that space of oneness that the ball disappears and you become one with all that is, into that space of creator of all that is. And even though the ball's disappeared and you become one with all that is, you're still you, you're still an individual, but you're just connected to all things. And now you're going to ask creator, creator of all it is. You just say this in your mind, creator of all it is. It is requested to send me unconditional love and healing through every cell of my body. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show me. And now imagine as the creator is sending you beautiful, unconditional love and healing light coming down through your crown chakra. Feel it weaving its way through your entire body, filling up every cell, healing, rejuvenating, transforming, transmuting, rejuvenating, replenishing. So let it fill up every single cell in your body. And now just relaxing that space, I'm going to ask Creator to do some downloads. So for those who haven't experienced downloads, these are energetic downloads from Creator, energetic energies that you can receive. I'm going to say what the energy or belief is that we're downloading. And if you would like to receive that in your head, you can just say yes. So would you like to know what it feels like to step into your true power and purpose? To feel confident and capable of doing what you came here to do? Would you like to know what it feels like to use the Healer's Journey transformation cards with ease and joy, and how to use them as a tool for deeper self-transformation? Would you like to know what it feels like to live your daily life without feeling blocked and stuck? To live without fear of the future? Would you like to know what it feels like to know that all is well in all of creation? And as divine beings, we are creators of magnitude, and we have the ability to create magic in our lives. Would you like to know what it feels like to honor yourself and others, the plants, the trees, the animals, and all things? To treat others with kindness and to receive that kindness in return? Would you like to know what it feels like to experience joy and happiness, to have ease with your body, to live without stress and struggle? And to have love and kindness as part of your life? To know what it feels like to choose the timeline that resonates with this higher vibration, and how to choose this vibration in your daily life so that you can create something greater for your future. So if you would like to receive all of those downloads, just say yes, and Creator will download them for you. All right. Beautiful. So now we're going to go from your heart center once again, And just feel your energy moving down through your body, through your feet, down to the center of the earth. You're just going to allow this earth energy to ground you and nourish you energetically. So bring a big scoopful of earth energy back into your body, up through your legs, through your body, all the way to the top of your head. Just let that beautiful energy fill up your entire body, replenishing and nourishing as the earth does. Not just our physical body, but all our etheric bodies as well. And then come to rest in your heart center. And just noticing for a minute how you feel now. Are you a little lighter than before we started? Has something shifted a little bit in your energy field? Just notice where you're at. No right or wrong. Whatever you're feeling is okay. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, thank you so much for being here, guys. It's been a pleasure to share. I hope you've enjoyed that information, and it gives you a little bit more awareness about the cards. And feel free to reach out. Oh, the cards and the book together are $60 Australian for anyone who is interested. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you are interested in getting some cards. And also, I do have a theta healing class coming up. I think it's next month, but I'll do a follow-up email to you guys and pop it in there. So anyone interested in learning more about that, if you're in Adelaide, can do that as well. And yeah, thank you for being here. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Thank you.